let's go to Exodus chapter 18, verse 19 and verse 20. Now, in these two verses here, we have Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, telling Moses about the way and manner he should go about the administration of the ministry that God had given to him. He had experienced great success, and Jethro said these words to him. He said, "Hearken unto me, and I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward." In other words, be the representative of the people before God in prayer, that thou mayest bring their causes to God. The things that are going on in their lives, you bring those things to God. Now, verse 20, it says, "Now you will teach them in response to your prayers the ordinances and laws." Now, he said there are two things you must show them. Show them the way wherein they must work and the work that they must do. So you have, all right, personal fellowship in terms of their relationship with God and their daily walk with God. But then the second part is that you also show them, all right, the issues of serving and the work that they must do for God. And what we have seen over the years, I mean, I didn't know the scripture this clearly in that way, and we find this also in the New Testament, in Colossians 1, 9 to 11, we see Paul praying that they might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that they may work worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work. So they had their work with God, their fellowship with God, and they had their work, which was the service that they were rendering unto God. And what we have found is that when people are not serving, eventually it affects, if somebody says, well, I just want to sit down, I don't want to do anything or render any form of service, I just want to sit down with God and fellowship with God. It was never meant to be that way. Service is an integral part of the expression of your Christian faith and your fellowship with God. And those who are going to grow spiritually quickly and develop to maturity, one of the tools that God gives to them is the tool of service. All right? Nobody followed Jesus that didn't enter into service. You followed him to be able to serve him effectively. And last week we talked about this in terms of the Son, right, who has a relationship with the Father, who understands he has been blessed with every spiritual blessing, who is in close communion with the Father. That Son now gets into service. So there's the son servant and there's the slave servant, which means the person who is serving with a consciousness of deficiency, and there's one who is serving with a consciousness of first being the Son of God. Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 3. The Bible talks about the fact that by raising out for himself to offer for sins. Verse 4. And he says, no man taketh this honor to himself, except he that was called of God, as was Aaron. Verse 5. Now it says, he glorified. Look at the nature of the calling of Jesus. So also Christ glorified not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him first, thou art my son, today I have begotten thee. Sonship first. Then the next thing he says, he saith also in another place, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So the person who functioned as a priest or who was called into the priesthood was first of all called into sonship. It was the relationship that he had with God as Son of God there that now extended there into his priesthood after the order of Melchizedek. So there's that work where you understand your fellowship, your rights, your privileges as a son of God. And it's through that relationship that you have with God that you now want to render service to humanity. But there is some major aspect of our Christian work that has to do with service. God, in redeeming, which was a type of us today, redeeming the nation of Israel, said, let my people go that they might serve me. In fact, he said, go and tell Pharaoh, Israel is my firstborn. Let my firstborn go that he may serve me. In other words, let my son be released. He says, let my people go that they may serve me. And elsewhere towards the end, in the last judgment, he said, Israel is my firstborn, even my firstborn. Let him go that he may serve me. So he acknowledged the fact that Israel was in that place there of sonship, but we are releasing them, Israel, from bondage, that they might go into the wilderness there and serve me. And after they had understood service there, it says now they can go, all right, into the land that flows with milk and flows with honey.